Okay. I have to repeat myself because some of the women feel like if they make one mistake, they're automatically eliminated. So they automatically feel like they have to lie or cover up their past. It's not about that. To be real with you, I expect you to have a past, especially the way black people get down, and especially us younger black people. If you don't have stories, you probably haven't been doing much living, and therefore you probably don't have enough experience, so we probably won't even connect. I connect with so many people because I've made so many mistakes across the board, whether it's money, women, family, career, education, spiritual, it doesn't matter. I've made mistakes, so I can connect with people because, we connect through our experiences. So like I said, if you don't have a story to tell, then hey, something's wrong with you and I really can't trust you. And now understand of course there are certain things in our past that, certain men can't get over, but it's not all. So what may eliminate you, for me, will obviously be different for someone else. But if you're a woman, I don't really feel like you should hide, because as men, we are expecting you to talk about what has happened in the past. But what you guys have to understand is your past alone by itself isn't going to hurt you unless it's something extreme and extravagant. But what will hurt you, is if you cannot prove that you have gained some sort of insight, okay, or some sort of tool that will help you from regressing, okay, or going back to making those same mistakes. So if you have money issues, or if you had money issues, as men, we're not going to run away, but what do we want to see? We want to see that you're handling your situation. We want to see that you have meaningful employment. We want to see that you have a plan to get yourself back on track. Okay, oftentimes women will come on and they'll talk about how, they don't spend as much money anymore because they have no job, or, because they ran all their credit cards up. Okay, so you didn't stop yourself, you got stopped. Okay, your employer and the credit card company stopped you. We want to see what you are doing to fix your situation. Okay, because the second Mr. Credit Man gives you another card, or the second you get another job, what's reassuring us that you're not going to go back to living the lifestyle that you were living that got you in debt. So part of it, in terms of the problems that we have, to me, I place them in two categories: money and spiritual. Okay, so I just talked about the money, but in terms of spiritual, we tend to get ourselves in trouble because we operate off of emotions such as anger, greed, revenge, spite, envy, jealousy, and you can keep going, maybe even love. And those emotions, right, get out of whack, and we can get ourselves in trouble. But somebody who's strong spiritually will be able to control it. You don't put it away, right? Jealousy is something that everybody has. Anger is something that everybody has. But your spiritual game is what controls that, and, it doesn't let it get out of whack. It's like the Incredible Hulk, right? Your spirituality controls your ability to, hulk up and go crazy. So that's what we want to see. So oftentimes, if a woman talks about her problems, and we say, okay, it's not financial, it's more spiritual, we are looking to see if you have became spiritually stronger. Okay, how did you resolve the situation? Case in point, the women will come on and they'll talk about being in a bad relationship, and they'll say, yeah, and the guy ended up leaving me. For us, that doesn't prove anything, because what if he stayed, right? You probably would have still been unhappy in that relationship, right? Somebody who's spiritually strong probably would have said, you know what, I had to grow up and I ended up leaving him, right? So you got over that situation, not because you got spiritually stronger, but because he left you. Okay, So for us, the men often want to talk, the women want to talk about bad relationships and how they overcame it, but how did you overcome it? He left you. He dumped you. You didn't leave him. You didn't grow up and figure out that, you're wasting your time. So like I said, we want to see spiritual growth. And the church isn't enough. Don't get me wrong. I understand that going to church and being religious is part of the game. But spirituality, that is something that you can't fake. Okay? You can sit in the church all day. You can be part of every committee. You can attend every service on Sunday. But spirituality is something that you have to show on your own. Right? There is no church people to vouch for you. There is no pastor to vouch for you. There is no deacon to vouch for you. It is you on your own. Okay? How well do you conduct yourself outside of church? Oftentimes, the women will hide in church. And what I mean by hiding is that they'll spend all their free time in the church. And for the men, it's kind of a eyebrow raiser. Because in our heads we're like, yo, she's eventually going to have to, right, come back to the real world. If I get with her, right, yeah, church is cool on Sunday, maybe a couple of meetings here and there, but she's definitely not going to be spending all her time in church, right? So how is she going to act when we're at home? How is she going to act when we go out for a Christmas dinner, right? How is she going to act when there may be some alcohol around her? Right? You prove your spiritual growth and your strength outside the church. Right? The church gives you your spirituality, or it helps you foster it, right? It helps you identify it and grow it. But you have to take it out into the real world. You have to prove to us that you can be around sin and be spiritually strong. See, when you're in a church type setting, there is sin there, but it's kind of hiding. Okay, it's not blatantly obvious, but when you're outside, it's in your face, right? What's more, in your face than a club where you have, sex, alcohol, money, drugs, it's all in there. Like, can you conduct yourself in that type of setting? I'm not saying that that's where you need to be, but what happens when we have to go out, right? What happens when we get invited to go to a birthday party at a club or something, and it's important that we go? How are you going to act? Okay, and I can keep going, but I think you guys get my point. So if you're a woman out there, like I said, we want to know your mistakes. Don't act as if you're squeaky clean. But more importantly, we want to know, what have you done to prevent yourself from going back to living a life, right? What have you done to make sure you prevent your money problems? And what have you done to prevent issues that come up because of spiritual weakness? So you guys take it easy. God bless.